Morning. Dan here, Diddy Speed Shop. So we got ourselves a brand new video. The weekend, I wouldn't say went exactly as planned. Well, I guess that probably means it just went as planned, you know what I mean? So the plan was to come in Saskatoon Cruise Weekend, hang out, you know, see a bunch of cars, do all that sort of stuff. Instead, we thrashed my buddy Dallas's car, and ultimately we're mediocre success. So that's that. Anyways, I didn't get to the hotel last night till, I'm gonna say 2:30, and the plan was, this is loose. Yeah, it looks like something I probably should have tightened and didn't, because it was a pain to get to with a ratchet. Let's get this thing once over. So now it's Sunday morning. It's 7 a.m. And hopefully I just did that. And we were gonna go look at some cars this morning and all that sort of stuff, but the problem is my buddy Josh, where they were staying, because they're too cheap to get a hotel in town, he's probably 45 minutes or so out of town, and so they wouldn't have got to bed till 3, and I doubt, we were like, oh yeah, we'll get up at 8, we'll go see some cars, we'll do this and that, and then I gotta hit the road because I think it's a 9-hour drive, assuming everything goes well. And man, this thing just didn't use any oil. That's amazing. Just a little bit because it was spilled out. Perfect. So anyway, I was thinking to myself, there's no way they're gonna be up by 8 or 9. Then they got to get their stuff together. Then they got to get to town, which is 45 minutes. Be 10. We screw around, maybe we have some breakfast, it's 11. Well, if I don't leave by noon, I got a 9-hour drive, and on top of that, I lose an hour going home. And my real fear actually is fuel stations. They get kind of sparse, and then it's a Sunday, and everything closes at 6 o'clock around here, and there's not much I can do about that. And this thing only getting 200 kilometers, 125 miles to a tank. Now, give or take, maybe a little bit more than that. It's I think it's a 15-gallon tank, so we were getting 10 miles to the gallon, 11. So maybe I could stretch it a little bit more, but I guess I should do the math. The first leg I did was from my house to Brandon, which was 225 kilometers. I don't know I think that's 120, 130 miles. And I wouldn't say that it was out of fuel, but I wasn't making the next stop. And there's only a few major towns along the way that I think would be open like 24 hours where I could get fuel. So I think it's time just to kind of call it, bail on my buddies, and start getting home, because that's if everything goes well. I got to work tomorrow morning. So let's fire this thing up, get some fuel, get a little gas station breakfast, and start making some miles. Okay, got the GPS to a fuel station. I think I connected the battery. Oh yeah. Ready? Look at that. I will say, the front carburetor, the accelerator pump, just weeping. By just weeping, I mean, if it sits for a half hour, it leaks all the fuel to the bowl. But that is going to be a problem for future Dan. This present Dan is getting the heck out of Dodge. So let's get rolling here. A little cold-blooded. Should be fine. Actually, I should have brought a tire pressure gauge so I can check that front tire, but it seemed a little low yesterday. But it did sit for, I think this is the entrance. Sorry. Monterey tourist. It's after 2 years, and it was like 10 pounds low or 8 pounds low or something like that. So we put air in it and then drove it, so mathematically it should be fine. Anyways. Oh, there's a handprint on my window. I wonder if somebody was messing with that. Or maybe I did it when I was leaning on the motor. Anyway, get some fuel. Got the rope. Well, they were a little weak on breakfast snacks, so I bought Doritos. See how that goes. Anyways, let's get the heck out of here. I also heard, well, last night we were out, and it was late, obviously, because we didn't get done till late. Actually, I should have done a better job of filling my buddy Dallas' car. We were working on his 67 Mustang, and he put a Ford 2-valve, I think, in it. Carburetor, where am I going? And right. And it wasn't running that great. Sure. Okay, we're good. Sometimes the Google lady just can't quite keep up with how fast I'm going. We're good here. Oh. I was the problem there. Anyway, so I get to talk about this on the highway. So we're working on the car. It wasn't going great. He blew up his stock 8-inch rear end. We made a 9-inch out of miscellaneous pieces, shortened it, welded the tubes, all that. Got her together. Put a set of 46 gears. And it was doing okay. The problem is we didn't we didn't get out till midnight. My buddy Josh's place, say it's 45 minutes or so out of the edge of town. By the time we got into town, it was 1 o'clock in the morning. So naturally, we 39th Street. Why am I doing a box? Why? There's a lot of rights. This is residential. We're gonna do another right turn here. I feel like this all could have been avoided. Google. As I was saying, it's a gong show. And so we're in town, finally got this car running and stuff, and there was a lot of cops. Apparently there was cops shutting stuff down. It took me back to the gas station. What in... Hang on. Okay, I think I got it sorted. Editor's note, Danielle, can you make it look like it's not as embarrassing for me? Let me, I forgot my wallet. Got my wallet. We got keys, we got phone. We get into town, there's cops everywhere. Apparently the rumor was they brought a bunch of cops up from Regina. So honestly, if you want the party, you should have been in Regina this weekend. And they were traveling, this is 2 o'clock in the morning, 3-4 cop cars in a pack, like they would the whole main drag. And they were shutting down all the parking lots and stuff like that, which I will say, I'm new to this, but in years past, I guess some of the parking lot meetups have been pretty rowdy, you know, with burnouts and stuff like that, which I get. I mean, it's always, you go too far, you push, you poke the bear, the cops come in, they go too far, and then eventually it goes back and forth versus everyone just kind of being there and being understanding, you know what I mean? Be like, okay, you know, the odd burnout, the odd revving is fine, but when it goes to the, I guess, getting taken over, my buddy Josh saying, I guess, a couple cops went in some of the areas, and I guess they were shaking the cop cars, and then that really didn't help things, so, I don't know, I love old cars, and I love all the stuff like that, but I also understand you can't be like that. That'll ruin it for everybody, and then you're just out in the back roads, beating the tar of your car by yourself, which is God's time and place, but it is what it is. I'm not a real car show guy. Sitting around the lawn chairs and do it for me, so I actually had a blast working on my buddy Dallas' Mustang and thrashing her, dying until we got her together, and then ultimately it was an epic failure. So I might add, I haven't even been in Saskatoon for 24 hours because I got in here yesterday at probably 10, and then I had to go over to do a little scooting around. I got Canadian staying tired for pool noodle. I had to get a sweater because it was cold and rainy yesterday. And by the time I saw my buddies, I didn't go for lunch at noon. And now it's 7:30. We're headed home. But hopefully, by my mathematics, I should be home by 6 o'clock or so. It's actually not too bad. We'll still be in the good here. Still be in the daylight. Maybe hang out with my sweetie, have a little dinner and a proper night's sleep. Because I haven't slept much the last 2 days. Nothing but jamming miles. Yeah. If I pass any cars on the way out of town, I'll let you know. But I think we're just hitting the ring road and we're eastbound and down. Check in with you later. The look you get from people at the fuel station when you're driving something completely ridiculous, they ask why. Will never ever get old. This guy's ready to party. So I don't even know. We're in what time is it? 9:30, so we made it 2 hours. Thing was basically out of fuel. I don't even know what town we're in. It was nice. They had 92 at the pump. I know you Americans have that just come out your taps or whatever. I mean, turn left. No, we're going straight. But yeah, it's good. Good fuel. Car like that. Actually, that place, I've driven by it a bunch of times, and it's got all like, stop by here, buy this, one of these little small town kind of deals. But honestly, it was nice in there. Brand new place, good fuel. We only had one bathroom there, so we're gonna pee in a bush. You gotta say you made you gotta say you went to the gas station. Otherwise, it makes you go back. But we're back on the road. We're trying to 88 kilometers, so half hour we'll be there, and then should be 5 hours from home. It was ripping. So now I'm pretty confident in the car. Overdrive. I was saying 130k, so that's 20-ish over the limit. Around a corner, there was a RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. They weren't on a horse, they were in their SUV, and he was looking at me, and I was looking at him. He did thumbs up. I was like, all right, that's pretty good. I thought for sure I was going to have another driving infraction, and I'm going to get one. I actually do say it. Out of province. I don't know if that follows me home or not. Alright, let's pass this big trailer and we'll probably stop in Regina. Time is at 9:30. Too early for Arby's. We'll see. Make a good time. Have at it. Alright. Big city of Regina. It's got a little more fuel actually. We probably could have powered through, but I wanted to stop and check the oil and all that, because honestly, if we need anything, this is the place we're gonna get it. But I think we should be fine. The car's, I put more timing in it, and I'm also driving faster. So it's putting a little heat. A rag anywhere here? Negative. What's that? Sorry, I don't smoke, man. Regina. Anyway, so like I said, it's she run a little hotter, but I'm going quite a bit faster. What is the statute of limitations on stuff like that? So it's also a hot day. It's only 10:30. She's warm. It's gonna be high 80s today. 32 Celsius, whatever that works out to be. Okay, that's perfect. No issues there. What do we got on this side? Might just double check the valve covers. Just a little, oh, this one is just a absolute leaking disaster. This breather, we got to get that figured out. This thing needs either like a catch can or something, because it's making a heck of a mess. I should put some new towels on there maybe. Or flip it and let the bottom part that hasn't been all oil soaked yet, recycle. Work smarter, not harder. So it's this thing runs like 175 when you're cruising the speed limit, and it seems like every 10 mile an hour faster you go, it puts about 5 degrees more heat in it. So let's go to about 75 mile an hour and it's running 180, 182 or something like that. Wow, right on the 180 mark. Mechanical gauge, who knows how accurate they are, but anyway, I want to get back on the road here. It's not max temperature yet, but it's getting there. So see what we can do. Okay, let's get back on the road here. So we got a Kit Kat and Diet Pepsi, because they actually didn't have Cokes. If I was riding with Danny, guess what? We would be... Is this trying to get me to go to the gas station still? Yes, it is. We would have been going... Remove. Somewhere else until we got friggin' a Diet Coke. Okay. So back on the ring road. Temperature's dropped a little bit. Man, this thing, I bet it could take more timing. We were doing some rather spirited runs last night. I think it has 32 or 33 degrees in it. 7,000 RPM. This thing sounds... It sounds... Did I turn the wrong one? Is this thing confused? Oh. Come on, GPS. Hopefully I can still turn into something here. Alright. We gotta go a little further. Oh, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. I like the hot rod. Yeah, I was just in Saskatoon. I'm headed home now. Thanks, buddy. Another cool guy just watched channel in a 66-ish Chevelle 4-door. You know what we can do with that thing? Chop that thing right up. Hey, how? Recalculating. Okay. This thing is telling me Ring Road West. We may have to do some figuring out here. Is this gonna take me home? Why does it want me? I gotta do double ring road? Hang on. Well, according to this, it's taking me home to Daniela. I guess we'll do what she says. Anyway, 7,000 RPM. This thing sounds pretty good. Do this. Let me get back up on here. Go back around. Clover leaves. What a concept. So, talked to John yesterday as we were giving it a once over. Oh. And he said, keep putting timing in it until it kicks back. And it took all of it on 91 octane. So, put another degree or two in, keep going until it becomes not happy. Oh, yes, the way I leave it like this. Turn. Oh. There was a detour sign that I saw, and guess what? We're taking it. The way I came in was actually the detour. How about that? Paying attention. To the left. You got it, Google. I'm on it. So, I think I'm just going to get back on the highway here. Actually, I got to eat my Kit Kat here before it screws up. What a chaotic situation this is. Alright. Oh, Safeway. here. Back on. There we go. Ferry Road. Maximum 30 kilometers an hour. You got it. 5 hours and 38 minutes till I'm home. Ish. These are non-breakdown minutes. Oh, this is good? Alright. Let's let her rip. See you guys on the highway. Another fuel stop. So I was just in there, bought myself a butter tart, a bottle of water, and lady in there, she's like, "Oh, you've passed us 3 times." I'm like, "Oh yeah." And she goes, "You go roaring by us, and every time though we see you at a gas station, we just keep going. I love your car." She was driving a Prius, her and her husband, but like, wow, that thing must use a lot of fuel. Yeah. Yeah, she uses a little bit. Oh, she's hot. Come on, girl. Ooh. Yeah. 200 degrees there. Might be time to start thinking about pulling a little bit of timing out. Or we can let it sit a little bit. I'm thinking on the next stop I might take a bit of a break. We'll see. What do we got here? I'll drop down to 180 there. How far are we from home? Oh, open in maps. 4 hours. And it's noon. That's not bad. We lose an hour. Well, I have to, without fail, I have the timing locked out. But if I hook up the vacuum advance, in theory, I think it should, if I hook up the manifold vacuum, I should be able to have like 32 or 34 degrees running, but should pull 10 on crank, right? Not making any vacuum at crank, or very little, I guess. That'll help it get fired up. Because it's definitely a lot of timing. Alright, well, let's roll. Doing good. Hopefully it's actually just hotter behind us, and that hole is going to be 10 or 15 degrees Fahrenheit cooler at least. So hopefully that'll make a big difference. And Made her back to town. We're back almost on the edge of the city. I think I did better in fuel mileage. I haven't been keeping track after the first day or so because I really didn't care. It cost what it cost. But just basically get a gauge. When I first left, I went from Winnipeg to Brandon, and I was going in on fumes. And I filled up in Brandon, and we still got enough I can drive this thing to work for, no problem. Oh, nice roads. Sounds like we got a bit of a header leak or something like that starting to, I might have been in the lane here, starting to occur. So take a look at that. But I think what I'm going to do, it wasn't a crazy long day, but I've had enough being in the car. I'm going to dump this thing in the driveway, and probably tomorrow we'll do a little closeout, we'll do a little walk around, show what the thing is. The valve covers are just puking oil, and everything is just dirty and oily and all sorts of stuff like that. So it'll need a good cleanup, and I got a few things I want to do to it over the next few days here. It'd be nice if my carburetors show up and I can run a tunnel ram. If not, we'll keep playing with the carburetor we have on there. And next weekend is another road trip, hopefully. Car did good. I mean, I think it was 900 kilometers each way or something like that. So I think basically 500 miles each way, so 1,000 miles on not a bad little break-in. Anyways, we'll be back tomorrow and we'll sign this thing out. Dan here.
This is the same video.
Home speed shop. So I made it in last night. Actually, it wasn't too bad of a drive. It felt a little long by the end, but we made her, so I can't really complain at the end of the day. Anyway, the car did really good. I mean, there's a couple of little things along the way which kind of foiled me, but really nothing too crazy. The gear vendor kicked out of overdrive twice, but I did some Googling stuff, and there was some people saying, and this is a story of my life, it really likes direct power to something, and I have it just tagged off of something, so that can, I guess, cause it to pop out. And it always went back in. And like I said, twice it happened, no big deal. The main issue we had was oil leaks. So these valve covers are cool looking, but they are, in fact, terrible. They are tall, real tall, so they're a pain to get in and out. The bolts go all the way through the valve cover, so getting everything lined up was a bit of a nightmare. I didn't change the gaskets on this, and they have been siliconed and kind of messed with. So, as you can see here, like this pool of oil. So they're leaking. So the whole car, under the hood and everything, is all kind of drenched in oil. Underneath is a disaster, but it's rust-proofed. I tell you, it ain't gonna leak. Now, what I have to do is I got to run the valves on this thing, so it's a solid lifter deal. So I want a set of valve covers that are much easier to deal with, so we have to get that taken care of. The breathers, like this one here, and I knew before I left, the speed shop didn't have anything, and it was like down the wire, but everything leaked. I tried wrapping it, but it just was not the plan. So it was leaking on the exhaust, and I went through, I don't know, half a liter oil or something like that on the whole trip, like 11 or 1,200 miles. So that's really, it was 500 miles each way, plus I did a bunch of driving. So realistically, if the worst case scenario was a valve cover leak, I think we're doing okay.
Nothing like a 1,000-mile reliability run.
Yeah. So that, the other thing we ran into was hot starting, which really, is not a huge issue unless you're, let's say, blazing down the highway for 8 or 9 hours and you're just stopping for fuel. So timing is a bit of a problem. Now this thing here, I gotta say, when I was out there, I was laying into it a few times, and this thing's got 12 or 12.5 compression, and on 91 octane it wasn't rattling or nothing like that. Probably, I think, got 32 degrees in it. So like John said, just keep adding a degree until it kicks back, and pull her back. So, but obviously each degree of timing is more power. We run into a situation though where every degree makes it that much harder to start, especially when the distributor's locked out. So what I'm going to do is we're going to run some vacuum advance. So in theory, it should pull 10 degrees on start. So even right now, it's got 32 in it. If I hook up the vacuum advance, it should only have 22 at start. Then immediately, once it starts running, take the timing up. So if we can get away with that, man, the wasps are brutal. I gotta wash this thing. Usually I wouldn't care about it, but I have to work on it. I don't want to be biz stung. So we're gonna do that. The carburetor, I got a bunch. I ordered a pile of jets and stuff like that. Honestly, it runs pretty good. So this thing, it has that 650 XP. I will say, in the high RPM, you can tell it RPM'd better with that big carburetor on it. But that thing is just an absolute race car deal. This XP does pretty good. Transitions are kind of iffy here and there. So what it really doesn't like, I was playing with it, is under moderate load. So let's say you're on the highway and you're accelerating, and right before the secondaries open, so like the primaries would be given her, it starts running lean, like kind of in the 16 range. But then really it goes just a little bit more foot feed, and then wham, she drops right down into exactly where you want it. So you just got to be a little cautious while driving it. Probably doesn't make that big of a difference, but I just, I'd like it to be as right as possible. Man, we got neighbors everywhere today. It was running kind of hot. I was 190. It would never got that hot. But I think what it actually is, Tri-5s are famous for, you have to have like everything blocked off so it's pulling right through the radiator. We have no shroud on it and all those sort of things. So I think air was probably going in and around just because the path of least resistance. So maybe we could work on something that maybe, like a little, almost like a front shroud that forces the air through the center to go through. I could also probably move this license plate. That probably doesn't help the situation. Now that I'm looking at that, we've blocked off 25% of the of that, so we can just peel that off.
But 190 isn't anything to worry about.
No, it's not bad. But just when you're adding heat to the timing,
you don't need to start worrying until it gets to about 210.
Who are you, John? Race car John? But you're right. I mean, it was fine. It was really no issue, and it was hot yesterday. It was just like it was hot today. Danielle in the back.
I am a girl who has suffered through years of you watching
the temperature gauge. I watch. I am obsessed with temperature gauge.
So I have learned.
Okay, so we
I
got.
don't have to panic.
You're fine. So we have that. Otherwise, the car did good. I burnt that one plug wire. Oh, I actually we can maybe do it tonight or tomorrow even. I think you're gonna love this, internet. I'm gonna rob the distributor out of the Nova. Oh, maybe I won't. I don't know if it has a vacuum advance on it. It might not. Because the cap on these are too tall to run wipers, and I like running wipers, especially on road trips. Because we're gonna take this thing for another road trip. So I just got back. Next weekend, we're gonna drive up to the mountains in it.
Like this weekend, literally in 3 days.
Yes, 3 days. Anyways, that's the plan. I'm gonna take Friday off work. I've taken 0 holidays this year, so we're gonna take 1 day, Friday, maybe leave Thursday night and drive out west just for fun. And the other thing I hated was no cruise control. So I have an idea to whip up a hillbilly cruise control. Otherwise, it's good. I went to the speed shop, grabbed a few things. I was trying to find valve covers. I'm always under the gun. So they had these kind of knockoff, whatever, valve covers, which are just plain. I'm hoping they're decent enough. I'm going to clean these out really well. You never know. There's crap in them and stuff. Oh, so here's the issue with the breathers. I guess now we're into it. There's no baffling in these. That one's kind of crappy. It doesn't really align with a rocker, but this one does. So you can see the valve train right there. So it is just whipping oil at the breather and just it's pouring out. So these ones have a little baffle in them. Who's calling? Oh God. They don't film me. Oh, that's it. So we'll have the baffle on there, and then I'll run another breather on top, and that should eliminate all of my issues. Some of my issues. Oh, I meant to paint this door and grease this door hinge. You think with all the oil up there, it wouldn't squeak. Someone said that I opened the door and their dog came to watch the TV. Whoop. We got that. I guess that's pretty much all I did. Valve covers, and I got some oil. We're gonna do an oil change on it. The car did really good inside. I don't think there's anything else I want to change. We got to go look at a distributor, or maybe even put an HEI in this thing. Here's the other issue we're running into. I really want to run this tunnel ram. I don't know, I think we showed it or whatever, but so I got this, it was part of the deal with the motor, so it's a rec port, kind of vintage tunnel ram that John had all like glass bead. Oh, the carburetor's leaking too. I gotta put a. I meant, actually, I was at the speed shop. Should have bought. I wonder if I have one. The squirter well. What am I thinking of? Someone's in the comments losing their mind. Accelerator pump. There we go. It's leaking. So I gotta change that. That's like 2 screws, no big deal, or 4 screws. So we get that done, but I don't have carburetor still. So starting to have a fit on that. But tonight, we have the night. Tomorrow we're going out with dinner with friends before we move to Alabama. They want to take us out for dinner. And then Wednesday.
I'm gonna have to edit that out now.
Yeah. Wednesday's Wednesday. I can work on the car. And then Thursday right after work, I want to go taillights. So if I put 2 carburetors on the thing, I'll have effectively 1 day. If they show up tomorrow, I'll have 1 day to mess with them. So we got a decent thing going right now. Anyways, that's it for now. That's where we're going to leave it. I'm going to go ahead and start the next video right away because we're just going to wash this thing up and hose it all down and let it dry, and then we'll run the valves and all those sort of
Are you
things.
going to change to a white t-shirt for us then?
No, thank you, ma'am.
Go a little slow-mo?
Thanks for watching. There you go. Anybody who thought, you can't drive big block Chevrolet cross country, you can. It's really no big deal. And you know what? I'd have done it with a tunnel ram and 2 carburetors if I had them. I've done it before and I'll do it again. But you just got to go ahead, have a little confidence in what you're doing. It's really no big deal. Thank you so much for watching. Get out there and drive your hot rod. I know I've said it before, but I really do mean it. Preach what you, what is it?
Practice what you preach.
Practice what you preach. And that's about all I really preach is drive your hot rod. And I think you should do it. We'll see you on the next one. The wasps, I don't like them.
How is filming on your own?
I didn't like it. That's why the videos are all over the place and either too short or too long and a little on the lazy side. Honestly, I went up there and hung with my buddy, so I didn't do a whole lot of filming. But Danny's coming on the next road trip, so you'll get all sorts of it. See you on the next one.